I am Elizabeth Harrison. I was doing a final check of my appearance in the mirror. Today is a special day for me. My son Jason has purchased a new home, and I've been invited to the housewarming party. Beth, it's all right. Today is Jason's day, I remind myself. But I can't shake off the anxiety lingering in my heart. The phone call I received from Jason last week is bothering me. Mom, you must come to the housewarming party. I have something important to tell you. There was a hesitation in his voice at that time. I want to think it's just my imagination, but my maternal instinct tells me something is off. My husband Robert said, "I'll go ahead and help with the preparations," and left early in the morning. At 65, he's been looking a bit tired lately. But I felt grateful for his kindness in wanting to help with our son's housewarming. Before leaving the house, I take one last look in the mirror. I adjust my silvery hair and straighten the collar of my pale blue dress. This dress is from over 20 years ago when Robert and I went shopping for our wedding anniversary. Fond memories well up, making me smile involuntarily. While driving, I reflected on my son's growth. The day Jason was born, the day he took his first steps, the day he entered college. And now, he's grown into a fine adult with his own home. I feel a little sadness at how quickly time has passed. After about 30 minutes of driving, Jason's new house came into view. It's a cozy single-family home in a leafy suburb. The front yard is blooming with colorful flowers, and a sign saying, "Welcome to our new home," hangs on the front door. As I park the car and get out, I can hear lively voices from inside the house. Taking a deep breath, I ring the doorbell, and Jason's wife Carol greets me. "Oh, Beth. You've come." Carol's voice sounds somewhat cold. Usually, she would greet me more warmly. I feel a bit confused but maintain my smile. "Thank you, Carol. I'm coming in." Entering the living room, I see Robert and Jason, along with a few friends. No one turns to look at me as I enter. Robert is engrossed in conversation with a friend, and Jason is staring out the window. Jason, congratulations. It's a lovely house." Even when I call out to him, Jason only glances at me briefly before looking away again. His, "Oh, thanks," sounds distracted. The atmosphere in the room feels heavy, and I start to feel suffocated. I even have the illusion that everyone is avoiding me. In the midst of this, I suddenly hear a small voice. "Grandma." I turn to see my 8-year-old grandson Noah running towards me with a smile. His pure smile eases my heart a little. "Noah, how have you been? Are you happy to see Grandma?" Noah nods vigorously and takes my hand. "Yes. I want to play with Grandma." Noah's warm attitude softens the cold atmosphere in the room a bit. But the rest of the family remains unchanged. Robert glanced in my direction but quickly returned to his conversation with his friend. Unable to hide my confusion, I stand quietly in a corner of the living room, observing this strange situation. The feeling that I'm missing something important grows larger and larger in my mind. As I stand rooted in the corner of the living room, I notice Noah looking around the room restlessly beside me. I realize his small hand is tightly gripping the edge of my skirt. "Noah, what's wrong?" I ask gently. He looks up at me with big eyes and whispers in a small voice. "Grandma, let's go outside for a bit." Noah's voice lacks its usual brightness. I feel a bit anxious, but decide to grant my grandson's wish. "All right, let's go get some fresh air." We quietly slip out of the living room and head towards the garden without anyone noticing. The air outside feels refreshing, in stark contrast to the heavy atmosphere indoors. Once in the garden, Noah looks around, checking his surroundings. After confirming that no one else is around, he suddenly grips my hand tightly and says in a trembling voice, "Grandma, it's dangerous. We need to run away quickly." I gasp at those words. I can feel Noah's small body shaking. "Noah, what do you mean? What's dangerous?" I try to stay calm despite my confusion, sensing from Noah's serious expression that this isn't just a child's whim. "They're trying to take you away. Everyone was talking about it." Noah's voice was shaking. "Even though you don't want to." For a moment, I couldn't understand what he meant. But looking into Noah's fear-filled eyes, I realized this was no joke. "I understand, Noah. Thank you for believing in Grandma." I took a deep breath and made a decision. "Now, do as Grandma says. Let's walk quietly and slowly to the front of the house." We crossed the garden and walked to my car parked in front of the house. During that time, my heart was pounding fiercely. My head was full of questions about what was happening and what my family was planning. As we got into the car, Noah immediately fastened his seatbelt. I hurriedly sat in the driver's seat and started the engine. Looking in the rearview mirror at the house, I confirm that no one has noticed our absence yet. "Noah, it's okay. Grandma will protect you." I tried to reassure Noah as I started driving. The shadows of the street trees glide over the car. After driving in silence for a while, I judged that we had reached a safe place and pulled over to the side of a quiet residential street. "Now, Noah. Can you tell me slowly? What did you hear?" Noah took a deep breath and began to speak hesitantly. "Last night, I overheard Dad and Mom and Grandpa talking. They were all whispering. According to Noah, Jason, Carol, and Robert were planning to put me in a nursing home. And against my will. They said your bags are already packed in the car." Noah continued, tears welling up. "They said they'd take you right after the party ended." I was at a loss for words. To think that my family had been making such plans behind my back. I gripped the steering wheel tightly, filled with disbelief. "But why?" I murmured softly. Noah hesitated before revealing an even more shocking fact. "Grandpa said he used up all your retirement money. That's why they have to sell the house." At that moment, I felt something crumble inside me. My husband of many years, my beloved son and daughter-in-law. The family I trusted was trying to decide my life for me. A heavy silence fell over the car. Outside the window, people unaware of our situation go about their daily lives. That scene feels very distant to me now. "Noah, you're such a brave and kind child," I said, holding back tears. "Thank you for telling Grandma the truth." Noah nodded slightly and clung to my arm, saying in a small voice, "I wanted to protect Grandma." Those words spread warmth in my heart. Amidst the sadness of being betrayed by my family, this pure affection supports me. Now, let's think about what to do next. I took a deep breath, trying to regain my composure. But first, we need to find a safe place. As I started the engine, I steeled my resolve. From now on, I'll decide my own life. With that vow in my heart, we began to move forward on an unknown path. After driving for about 30 minutes, we arrived at a small cafe in an unfamiliar town. A warm sign reading, "Sunshine Cafe," welcomes us gently. "Noah, let's take a break," I said, taking my grandson's hand. As we enter the cafe, soft sunlight streams through the windows, and the aroma of coffee wafts through the air. This peaceful space is exactly what we need right now. We sit at a window seat, and I order hot chocolate and coffee from the waitress. Noah remains silent, fidgeting with his small hands on the table. "Now, Noah. It's okay. Can you tell me slowly?" I gently asked. Noah took a deep breath and began to speak hesitantly. "Grandma, actually. According to Noah, last night when he woke up thirsty in the middle of the night, he overheard the adults talking downstairs. Grandpa was saying, 'I've used up all of Beth's retirement money. We can't pay back the loans unless we sell the house.'" At those words, I almost dropped my coffee cup. "Robert, used my retirement money?" Noah nodded slightly and continued. "Dad was angry. He said, 'How could you do such a thing?' But Grandpa said, it was just an investment failure." Events from the past raced through my mind like a flashback. Robert suddenly buying an expensive car, frequent overseas trips. At the time, I was happy thinking his work was going well. But were all of these funded by my retirement money? So, Dad and Mom. Noah continues, choosing his words carefully. They said if they put Grandma in a nursing home, they could sell the house and make money. At that moment, I felt something freeze inside me. Even my beloved son and daughter-in-law were involved in this plan. But why? I asked in a trembling voice. Noah answered with a bit of hesitation. Dad was saying, the loan repayments are getting tough. We might lose the house at this rate. Suddenly, events from the past few months became vivid. Jason frequently mentioning financial worries, Carol not going shopping as often as before. It all connected. I see. I let out a deep sigh. Everyone was struggling with money. Noah nods silently. In those small eyes, I could see the earnestness of trying to understand the complexities of the adult world. I quietly closed my eyes, reflecting on my life so far. Married for nearly 40 years, I trusted and supported Robert. I raised Jason, rejoiced in his growth, and wholeheartedly celebrated the birth of my grandson Noah. To think that such a family was trying to decide my life arbitrarily. Grandma, don't cry. Noah's small hand touches my cheek. I realized tears were streaming down my face. It's okay, Noah, I force a smile. Grandma's just a bit shocked. However, along with sadness, a quiet anger was also welling up. The pain of years of trust betrayed, and the humiliation of almost having my life decided by others. These emotions are swirling inside me. Noah, you're truly a brave and kind child, I squeezed my grandson's hand. Thank you for telling Grandma the truth. Noah nodded slightly and said in a small voice, I wanted to protect Grandma. Those words spread warmth in my heart. Amidst the sadness of being betrayed by my family, this pure affection supports me. Now, let's think about what to do next. I took a deep breath, trying to regain my composure. But first, we need to find a safe place. Through the cafe window, I could see the sun starting to set. Before the new morning comes, we must take action. Noah, will you come with Grandma? I asked, and Noah answered without hesitation, yes. At that moment, I made my decision. From now on, I'll decide my own life. With that vow in my heart, we prepared to start on an unknown path. Noah and I decided to stay at a nearby hotel for the night after leaving the cafe. As we entered the room, reality hit me all at once, and I let out a deep sigh. Noah, you'll have to go home tomorrow morning, I said, and Noah's face looked anxious. But, Grandma. It's okay. Grandma is strong, I smiled at him. Noah, can you watch everyone at home? You're Grandma's important spy. Noah nodded, looking a bit relieved. The next morning, after dropping Noah off at home, I headed to a local law office. Lawyer Jane Wilson listened to my story seriously. Beth, your rights are protected by law, Jane said. We'll need to investigate the misuse of your retirement funds in detail. Jane's words gave me a glimmer of hope. But the house is in Robert's name, I voiced my concern. It could be considered joint property. It was acquired during the marriage, Jane gave me a reassuring smile. While proceeding with legal measures, I needed to secure a place to live for the time being. Jane introduced me to a local social worker. Social worker Martha greeted me with a warm smile. Beth, you're in a difficult situation. But let's find a solution together. With Martha's help, I was introduced to a short-term stay facility for seniors in the area. Here, you can think calmly about your next move, Martha said. When I arrived at the facility, I had an unexpected reunion. Eleanor, my former neighbor, was volunteering there. Oh my, Beth. It's been a while, Eleanor's face showed surprise. When I explained the situation, she deeply sympathized. You've been through a lot. But while you're here, I'll support you, Eleanor's words warmed my heart. That night, lying on the bed in the small room, I was thinking about future plans. Suddenly, my cell phone rang. It was from Noah. Grandma, are you okay? He asked in a small voice. Yes, I'm fine. Did you hear anything, Noah? Yes. Dad and Mom were fighting. Grandpa was angry too. Noah's words made me feel that cracks were forming within the family. But that's not important to me right now. Noah, don't worry about Grandma. Don't trouble your parents, okay? After hanging up, I fell into deep thought. A confrontation with the family is unavoidable. But anger and resentment alone won't solve anything. I must approach this calmly and with a firm attitude. From the next day, I started to create a rhythm for my new life. In the morning, I attend a yoga class with Eleanor, and in the afternoon, I read in the facility's library. In the evening, I check progress with lawyer Jane over the phone. We've almost traced the flow of the retirement funds, Jane reported. Robert's investment failure is clear. This will be a legal issue. After about a week, I was gradually regaining my confidence. Interactions with Eleanor and other residents increased, and my sense of loneliness faded. One day, Martha brought some good news. Beth, an apartment for seniors has become available. The rent is affordable too. Those words made my heart flutter greatly. This could be the first step towards a completely independent life. Thank you, Martha. I'd love to see it. The apartment was small but clean and bright. The kitchen was equipped with basic cooking utensils, and the bedroom had a view of the park. I could start a new life here, I murmured, gazing out the window. However, there's still an issue that needs to be resolved. The confrontation with my family. After consulting with Jane, we decided to set up a meeting. Beth, asserting your rights is not wrong, Jane said, placing her hand on my shoulder. It's important to calmly convey the facts, not to blame your family. I took a deep breath and slowly exhaled. I understand. When I'm ready, I'll contact my family. That night, lying on the bed in my new apartment, I quietly steeled my resolve. From now on, I'll carve out my own life. I'm prepared to rebuild my relationship with my family from scratch. Gazing at the full moon visible from the window, I whispered softly, "Well, it's the beginning of a new chapter." Just as I was getting used to life in my new apartment, I received a call from lawyer Jane. The date for the meeting with my family had been set. My heart started pounding fiercely the moment I heard the news. On the appointed day, I headed to what was once my home with Jane. Standing at the entrance, a mix of nostalgia and anxiety washed over me. Jason opened the door. His face showed fatigue and regret. "Mom," he stammered. Entering the living room, Robert and Carol were seated. And in the corner of the sofa, Noah was curled up small. As soon as he saw me, Noah rushed out and hugged me. "Grandma." His voice was mixed with relief and joy. Jane organized the situation, and the discussion began. First, Robert spoke up. "Beth, I'm truly sorry," his voice was shaking. "I failed in my investments and used up your retirement money. I tried to recover it, but I only got in deeper." Next, Jason started speaking. "Mom, we were wrong too. But we were really worried about you. We thought we couldn't take care of you properly in your old age." Carol also spoke, her eyes welling up with tears. "Beth, our thinking was shallow. We made arbitrary decisions, ignoring your feelings." As I listened to their words, various emotions swirled inside me. Anger, sadness, and even a little sympathy. Taking a deep breath, I began to speak quietly. "Everyone, please listen. I was deeply hurt. I felt betrayed by the family I trusted." For a moment, the room fell silent. "But," I continued, "I understand that you all had your own struggles. However, why didn't you consult with me? We could have thought of a solution together." Robert covered his face with both hands. "I was ashamed. I didn't want to disappoint you." Jason also bowed his head. "We didn't want to worry you, Mom." I looked at them and said firmly, "As a family, we should share both good and bad things. I still have the strength to live my own life. Don't forget that. At those words, all family members looked surprised. Noah said in a small voice, "Grandma, you're strong." That comment seemed to soften the atmosphere in the room a little. Jane began the legal explanation. The misuse of retirement funds, the issue of house ownership, and plans for future living arrangements. The family listened intently. After the explanation, Robert said with determination, "Beth, I'll repay the full amount. It might take time, but I'll definitely keep my promise." Jason and Carol also said, "We'll do everything we can." Those words lit a small spark of hope in my heart. However, it will still take time to fully regain trust. Thank you, everyone. But it will take time to rebuild trust. I have my own life. I want you to respect that. The family nodded silently. At that moment, Noah stood in the center of the room and said loudly, "Everyone, let's make up. Let's all take good care of Grandma." That pure wish brought small smiles to the adults' faces. I exhaled deeply and said, "That's right, Noah. Let's all build a new relationship." From that day on, bit by bit, my relationship with my family began to change. Robert started making regular repayments, and Jason and Carol began visiting my apartment on weekends. Noah cherishes the time he spends with me even more than before. His words, "Grandma, I'll protect you now," fill me with genuine warmth. One evening, I was standing on the balcony of my new apartment, watching the setting sun. Suddenly, my phone rang. It was Robert. "Beth, would you like to come for dinner tomorrow? We'd like to have a meal together, all of us." At those words, I hesitated a bit but answered, "Yes, I'll come." After hanging up, I looked up at the sky. I still haven't completely forgiven the past. But I'm ready to take a step towards a new future. Well, it's the beginning of a new chapter, I reminded myself once again. This time, it's a new path to walk with my family. It's a challenge, but also a hope.